It's time for the Trading Stocks Made Easy podcast. Each week, Trading Stocks Made Easy demystifies stock trading and investing so you can profit big. And now, here's the host of Trading Stocks Made Easy, the wealthy investor, Tyrone Jackson.
And it's Tyrone Jackson, the wealthy investor, and thank you for joining me for another fabulous episode of Trading Stocks Made Easy. Hey, today we're going to talk about following your dreams. Remember that? Remember when you used to dream of all these great things that could happen to you? And most importantly, all these great financial things that could happen to you? Well, that's what today's show is all about. You see, in the Wealthy Investor Program, not only do I teach you how to create wealth and monthly residual income in the stock market, I also show you how to create a financial reality that is much bigger than you've ever thought it could be. So let's get started. Now, the first part of this episode is all about having a dream. And this is what I have discovered is the sad part about being a grown-up. We forget how to dream. We disconnect from our true desires, from how big life can be, from all the possibilities that exist in the world, and what our day-to-day existence can be like. Now, why does that happen? Well, there are a lot of reasons for it, but I'm going to take you back now to your childhood. So this may even wind up being just a little bit of a therapy session, but we're going to talk about your childhood. And I just want you to focus on me and you in this episode, because not only am I going to teach you how to link to your dreams, I'm going to teach you some tools that if you use them for the rest of the year or the next 2 years or 3 years, your life has to be different if you employ these tools. And of course, I use them myself. Now, do you remember when you were a little child and you would sit around at some point with your friends and someone would say, I want to be a construction worker. And someone would also say, I want to be a pilot. And then someone would also say, I'm going to be a model. And someone would say, I'm going to build buildings. And then we would engage with those people and say, oh yeah, how big are your buildings going to be? And that one person would say, well, when I build buildings, my buildings are going to be 50-story tall because in this city, we don't have any 50-story tall buildings. And then someone else will go, you can't build a 50-story tall building. We live in a town that's all houses. Okay, well, maybe I'll do 25 first. And then I'll do 50 stories. Well, you have to go. My dad says you have to go to the planning commission and then you start working on it. But see, when you were engaging with that other person, they were treating your dreams as if they were real and you were adjusting them accordingly. For the person who wanted to be a model or a rock star, they could actually see their dreams out there. And remember, no one felt any guilt, any doubt, or any shame. Now, what happens is, as we become older, we start to believe in what we can see and we push our dreams aside. So we hear our parents perhaps fighting about money, or we hear our parents say things like, we can't afford that. And we start moving away from our dreams and moving into what we think is the practicality of life. Oh, that's right. To own a car, you have to make money. To pay your rent, you have to make money. To buy groceries, you have to make money. And we start to cast our dreams aside because this overwhelming reality seems like the things that we should be focused on. Now, the reality is you do have to pay your rent. You do have to pay for your car. You do have to have money in your pocket. But if you remember during that process how to dream, then getting the money to live your dreams aren't as difficult as you think. Now, any dream that you could put together, whether it's to own a home, multiple homes, travel when you want, and do what you want with your life, it is all doable. It is all doable. Now, I can tell you that because I live my dreams. So right before we start talking about why your dreams are important and how you can accomplish them, I want to tell you something about my life. My biggest dreams happened when I was in my 20s. For some reason, I've always been a big dreamer and able to see things that were beyond the physical. And so I started to dream a lot in my 20s because it seemed like I was able to get more and more control of my life because I would be choosing. And so I started reading books that really talked to me about choosing. It's a great book by Dale Carnegie called How to Win Friends and Influence People. And it really talks about our human interactions, how we can enrich those interactions, and how we can live a bigger and better and more satisfying life. And one of the things that I realized from all the books that I was reading was that every single day I was making a conscious choice about something. It really wasn't that the world was just beating up on me or there were hard lessons that I had to learn. Even when there were lessons that I had to learn, I was choosing. I was choosing the people that I get to be around. I was choosing how I would spend my day. When I was in college, I was choosing the route home. I was one of those people that stayed at home for college because we didn't have the money for me to go away. But every day, I was choosing. I was choosing what books I would read. So see, we live in a world where we have choice, but we don't always feel that way. And someone said to me, because I surrounded myself with other people who believed in sharing their dreams, you should write your dreams down. Once you write your dreams down, you can make sure that your choices are consistent with your dreams. Now, the value of writing your dreams, or some people call them your visions, writing your dreams and your visions down is that they're out of you. They're on paper. And when they're on paper, they are real. And my dream, even at that time, was to live in multiple cities, right? To make a lot of money. And I'm just going to be really honest with you. I was just in love with this idea of waking up in the morning, making money, and being able to go back to bed. Because in my 20s, it was all about getting enough sleep because I was so tired because my schedule was so heavy. In college, I was just like, well, I know everybody else wants to get a job, but if there's a way that I can make money, wake up in the morning, make money, go back to bed and sleep for the rest of the day, that would be like the holy grail for me, right? So that was part of my vision. I remember writing that down. So today, what is my reality? I live in multiple cities. I wake up in the morning. I make a lot of money, and the only difference now is I don't go back to bed because there are a bunch of other little things that I like to do. But do I have the choice? Yes, I do. So dreams are really important. They become really real if you remember to write down your dreams and desires and then make choices that are consistent with them. So the reason that most people don't achieve their dreams or true desires is because they don't make consistent choices. So you can't say, I'd love to fly airplanes for a living, but I'll just do this waiter or waitressing job for 6 years and never go to flight school. That's not a choice that's consistent with your true desire or your dream. A choice that would be consistent is, I'm going to take this waiter or waitressing job so that I can go to flight school on the weekend to get the license to learn how to fly commercially. That's a consistent choice. So make sure your choices are consistent with your true desires and you'll be successful. So the first thing that I want to ask you is, what dreams do you have? What if I give you the opportunity to write out your ideal day, how would you spend it? If money were not an issue, what cities would you travel to? If money were not an issue, what car would you drive? If money were not an issue, what part of the world would you live in? If money were not an issue, what kind of food would you eat every single day? You see, asking those questions are important, but you giving the answer is extremely important because it puts you in touch with your dreams. If money were not an issue. So many people run around the world thinking that money is the problem, and the problem is you don't have your dreams in order, therefore your choices can't be in order. Does that make sense? Okay. So if we can remember how to dream, and that you and I are consciously making choices every single day, why don't you and I make choices that are consistent with our dreams that we've actually taken the time to write down? Now, why is it important to write down your dreams? Because when they're written out on a piece of paper, they have life. They exist someplace other than just your mind. Okay? So what I'm going to ask you to do and think about in the next day or two is to go wild with your dreams, really wild. Because anything that you can dream right now is someone's reality. Anything that you can desire, someone already has. So therefore, they're living your dream and you're not living the dream that you really want. Does that make sense? So anything that you can conjure up in your mind is already someone's reality. Now that should be exciting because it means it's already been accomplished. So all you have to do is find out how to accomplish the same thing. Your dreams are important, and if you're not hearing that enough from anybody else in the world, I'm here to tell you that they are. Now we're going to talk about the idea of linking your dreams to your financial life. So I'm going to give you some specifics. This may or may not be your dream, but just be open to this idea because this process works and it's very, very powerful. Let's say my dream is to live in a $500,000 house by a lake with multiple cars that I'm able to afford, and I'm only working 1 hour a day. Now, to some people, that seems like impossible. Well, why is it impossible? Because those people have been taught to dream based on what they can see. So if I conceptualize that I want to live in a house that's worth $500,000 by a lake with multiple automobiles and work only 1 hour a day, do you realize somebody's already living that dream? It's already being done. And if they've discovered how to do it, then that means I need to discover how to do it. So how do we link this to your financial life? Well, it's really important to link it to your financial life because now you want to look at how much you're earning right now, each and every day. So if you want to live in a $500,000 house by a lake with 2 automobiles and you could easily afford it, but right now, let's say, for example, you find yourself working at Target. Well, obviously, the money that you're earning at Target is not going to be enough, generally speaking, to afford a $500,000 house because your mortgage payment's probably going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of $2,000 to $3,000 a month. So if we're going to build a bridge to that dream, the first step that we need to engage in is generating more monthly income, more of a salary for ourselves. So if at Target you find yourself making $25,000 or $30,000, to get closer to the $500,000 house, you're going to need to double your income. So you're going to need another job, right? A job that pays you more. So if you need a job that pays you more, what skills do you have so that you can go out and get a higher paying job? Now, for some people, that means going back to college. For some people, that means getting a certification or a degree or something so that you can go out into the world and say, hey, I am good at this, and this set of skills gets me paid more. The reason I bring this up is because a lot of people join WI Trade School and they discover how much money can be made in the stock market. And they say, Tyrone, I have $500 to start my online trading account, and I'd like to make $5 million. Well, $500 is not going to make you $5 million overnight. It is a good place to start, but you're obviously going to need to be contributing more to your online trading account to get to that $500,000. And that starts off with the income that you're generating now. So that dream, as I said before, of a $500,000 house and 2 cars that you can easily afford is very attainable. But right now, where you are, you probably need to increase your income. So let's say you're already at a job where you're earning $100,000 a year. Well, now you're really not that far away from that $500,000 house. But here's the key. What are you doing with the money that you generate as income right now? How much of that $100,000 are you putting away? Are you investing into your online trading account so that you can collect more covered call income, more dividends, and own stocks that rise? Because I see this a lot with middle-class people. They have dreams, but it's what they're doing with the money that they have that is the thing that's going to connect them with their dreams. And so if you're renting, for example, and you're driving a high-priced car right now, the money that you're paying on rent or the money that you're paying for that car could easily be invested into stocks which have a tendency to go higher. So here's the good news. If you're already a middle-class person earning a very good living, what are you doing with your money? Where are you choosing to put your money so that it can grow for you exponentially? Having a dream is really, really important because your dream is what's going to get you to your destination when you start to look at what you're doing with your money and the choices that you are making right now. So what am I trying to share with you? Well, step number 1, you want to have your dreams written out. So tonight, can you give yourself 15 minutes to write down 5 dreams that you'd like to have as your reality in 5 years or less? That's 5 dreams that you'd like to have as your reality in 5 years or less. You see, in this life, you're supposed to be happy. Now, I'm going to share with you some of my beliefs about what goes on in this life. And if they don't sound good to you, just let them go. If they don't resonate with you or make sense with you, that's okay. Just let them go. But you see, in this life, this is kind of like school. And if life is kind of like school, you're supposed to be learning lessons. And sometimes lessons are painful, and sometimes the rewards are joyous. When you experience something that's very painful, that's usually telling you that's not consistent with where you want to be, because life was not meant to be lived in pain. But you see, when you have this cheat sheet with your dreams, you learn from pain that you might be doing something that's moving you away from your dreams, and your goal is to move more towards them. And this is what happens also with people who are in very painful relationships. I love this person, but they don't want to get married and they don't want to be with me. That's probably not the person that you should be with, because they're giving you what a lot of people call resistance, which is causing you pain. So you may want to let that person go so that you can then find someone who fulfills your dreams so that you can live with them happily. So if life is meant for you to be happy, and this is sort of kind of like school, then you want to learn the lessons that link your dreams to your happiness. Now, it's no secret that I've done well for myself financially and will continue to do that. Why? Because I've learned to be around the people, to listen to the messages and the experiences that link my dreams to my financial reality and my personal happiness. Now, I'm not here to tell you that I have a perfect life, but it's really pretty good. And it's certainly very good relative to the people that I grew up with and the lifestyle that I had, being raised by a single mother. So I had to learn some tools that move me away from the reality that I grew up with into the reality that I wanted. And one of the tools is to write your dreams down. Now, as you write your dreams down, this is really interesting, and you begin to achieve them, your dreams start to change, right? So that's one of the things that's really interesting. Is like I'm constantly having to update my dreams because I keep achieving them because I have a system. So writing your dreams down is part of that system. And I love this because everybody says, oh, you have to have money to make money. You do, but it costs you nothing to write your dreams down. Do you realize that? Okay. So we can all write our dreams down. So tonight, write your dreams and your desires down, but we're going to limit them to just 5. And then when you look at everything on that page, you are then going to look at how much money you are earning, and do you have enough money out of what you're earning to be able to invest money in an online trading account. So for example, if your dream, let's go back to that $500,000 house. If your dream is to own that $500,000 house and you're not able to put away $500 to $1,000 a month, then you're probably not earning enough money to reach that dream. And that's not bad. That's a signal that maybe you need a change in your life. Now, if you're earning enough to put away $250 a month, well, then maybe your next dream is to get a house that's worth $250,000. You see, sometimes we have to scale back our dreams just a little bit so that we reach the first dream and we've developed the habits that get us to that first step, and then we can get to the $500,000 house. So sometimes building a dream requires that you're willing to take steps, that you're willing to accomplish things in smaller increments. Now, if this makes sense to you, guess what? You've just been given the keys to the kingdom. Because if you want that $500,000 house with the 2 cars that you can easily afford, my next question is, somebody's already living that dream, but why should you be paying for it? Why should you be going to work to make the money to live that lifestyle? Shouldn't the stock market be giving you that money? The answer, of course, is yes. Now look at what happens when step 1, you write down your dreams. You decide how much you can put into an investing account. You start buying stocks, studying the market, generating residual income. When your residual income gets to $1,000 a month, that is really good. We talk a lot about on this show about getting money from the market. So any of my students who come on the show, they all talk about how they're making thousands and thousands of dollars a month from the stock market. Well, if you can start earning $1,000 a month, in some cities, that's rent, right? In other parts of the world, that's like a grocery bill. It all depends. But here's what's exciting. If you can get your brokerage account and your trading strategies to generate $1,000 a month, then you can get those same strategies to make $2,000 a month, then $5,000, then $10,000, then $15,000, then $30,000, then $40,000 a month. So here's why I encourage you on a show called Trading Stocks Made Easy to have dreams and look at the choices that you're making every single day, because any number that you pick as a trader and investor is achievable. But if you never write it down, it makes it a lot harder. If you're not conscious about the choices that you're making and how much you're earning right now so that you can feed your investment account to get to your dream, if you're unaware of all of that, the journey becomes harder and harder and harder. So if you're going to be a big dreamer, you have to see what is beyond real so that you can live that reality and understand someone else is already doing it. So let's recap this idea of dreams. And I'm not going to make this a long episode because I want you to, right after you listen to this episode, take this action, connect with your dreams for free, look at how much you're actually earning and how much you can put into an investing account each and every month so you can start earning $500, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $5,000, $10,000, or $30,000 a month. But the journey to $30,000 a month starts with your dreams. And here's what I want to tell you before I leave you. Act like your dreams are important in this world. And it doesn't mean that someone else has to lose in order for you to gain. But whatever you write down on that sheet of paper after listening to this episode, whatever your top financial dreams are, they can be real in 5 years or less. Because in the Wealthy Investor Program and at WI Trade School, that's what it's all about. We earn money as traders and investors so we can live our dreams each and every day. Life doesn't have to be difficult. Life doesn't have to be a financial struggle. There's financial freedom. How do we know that? Because I've already achieved it. I'm your example, and I believe in you. So if I can do it, then I know that you can do it because you just listened to the tools necessary to get you there. I'm Tyrone Jackson, the Wealthy Investor, saying it's important to dream. I've done my part to help get you there. Now, the rest is up to you. I'll see you on the next episode of Trading Stocks Made Easy. Until then, stay open, keep a positive attitude. Remember, anything and everything is possible. It's all up to you and the conscious choices that you make each and every day. Happy trading.
You've been listening to the Trading Stocks Made Easy podcast. Be sure to rate and review our show on iTunes. While you're on iTunes, be sure to click the subscribe button and you'll automatically receive our next episode.